There we go. All right.
YouTube channel.
So what two variables are we looking for when we write it in slope-intercept form? Which two are we substituting in for?
X and M. X and M.
B and M, right? Why is this called slope-intercept form?
Okay,
Okay, I'm hearing from a few people, yes. M, whatever number is written in place of M is your slope. Whatever number is written in place of B is your y-intercept. This is your slope, and this is your y-intercept. So we started off Thursday where I gave you a graph. Actually, no, we actually started off where I just said the slope is 2, the y-intercept is 5. And you took 2, plugged it in for M, you took 5, and you plugged it in for B. And we had our slope and y-intercept. Then I started to give you some new information or some different parameters, and you had to find the equation of a line. So now I'll give you a graph, and I'll put a point here. And then there's my line, and now I want you to give me the equation of that line. So we're still looking for the same two things. Slope and y-intercept. Yeah, that's I should have made it bigger, sorry. But the y-intercept is just where it crosses the y-axis. So when we look at this, where is this line crossing the y-axis? Can you guys see? Yeah. Daryl, you're right here. Where's it crossing the y-axis?
Oh, I think one, yeah.
Down 1, no. So it's a what?
-1.
It's -1. So our y-intercept, B, in this equation is -1. And then how do we find the slope? Hannah?
We count in between the things.
Yeah, you count in between the points. You count the rise and the run. You count up and down first. That goes in the numerator, and then left and right. So if we start here, we go up to right 1, back on the graph. Up to right 1, back on the graph. So our rise is 2, our run is 1. 2 over 1 is our slope, which is just 2. So when we write the equation of a line, we get y equals 2x minus 1. We just wrote our equation in slope-intercept form. We plugged in the slope, we plugged in the y-intercept. Okay? Now the other thing we did on Thursday is I said, write the equation of a line through, and then maybe I gave you 2 points, 4, -7, and 6, -11. What 2 things did we need to find? So now we got to find something different? What 2 things are we looking for when we write something in slope-intercept form? Same thing every time, M and B. Now I might have given you X's and Y's, but we still need to find M and B. When I give you a graph, you can just count rise over run. That's how you find the slope. You can just look at it to see where it crosses the y-axis. What are we going to do in number 2 in order to find the slope? Mo?
Well, first you got to find M, which you do, M equals -11 minus -7, and 6 minus 4.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you're substituting that into the slope formula, right? You're calculating the rise and run by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's how we're going to find the slope in this problem. Hannah? Yep. All right, so then Mo already started giving us some of those answers. What did you say again? Okay, did you say minus and negative? You did, okay, yeah, but I'm just making sure because we gotta make sure it's minus Now we're putting a negative 7 in. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. So when you plug it in, it's minus a negative 7. And then Mo's already saying that becomes plus positive. And in the denominator, what do we got?
18.
Careful.
Oh, my bad, no, 6 plus, 6 minus.
6 minus 4. Okay, now minus a negative 7 becomes plus positive 7. Negative 11 plus 7 is negative 4. And then in the bottom, we get a 2. What's negative 4 over 2? Negative 2. Okay, so now our y-intercept, our slope is negative 2. We already found one of our things now. We found our slope. So let's plug it in. Y equals negative 2x plus b. Now who remembers what we did to find b? Bella? Yeah, which one? Either one. It doesn't matter, right? This is an x and a y. This is an x and a y. We can plug them in. Here's another x and a y. We can plug them in. So we're going to substitute in the other stuff that we know and then solve for b. So y1, we'll just use this point, is negative 7, negative 2. X is 4 plus b. So we substituted in m after we found it, and now we're plugging in x and y. Okay? Now we're just doing some order of operations. We get negative 7. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus b. Sebastian?
Yeah, add b to both sides.
Add what to both sides?
8.
8, yep. B equals 1. So we had to do something different to find m and b in this problem. To find m, we have to do all this. To find b, we plugged in m, we plugged in x and y, then solve for b. Once we get to this point, we have m, we have b, plug it in. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. Okay, got to remember doing that on Thursday?
Yeah.
All right, so sort of, yeah. All right, we're going to practice that a little bit today if we get to it, but something we need to know. What else we need to remember? Okay, now I'm going to show you another form and show you another way to find this equation. Why is this called slope-intercept form again? Nina?
There's a slope in it.
It has the slope in it and it has the y-intercept in it. Slope-intercept. Well, this one has a point in it and it has the slope in it. It's called point-slope form. We're going to do the same thing as number 2, but we're going to do it a different way. So 2b, same thing, same problem. We're going to end up getting the same answer by using point-slope form. Look what I gave you. 2 points, and then we found the slope. Which variable in this equation stands for the slope? Same thing as in that one, yeah, m. So do we know m?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. We found it, right? Yeah. If we didn't know it, we could find it. But now we can take negative 2 and plug it in for m. So y minus y1 equals negative 2 times x minus x1. That's our slope. The reason it's called point-slope form is because we could also plug in a point. x1, y1. There's x1 and y1. What do you want to do with it? Yeah, substitute that stuff in. So if we take x1 and y1 and substitute it in here, we get y minus negative 7 equals negative 2 x minus 4. What's minus a negative 7? It just becomes plus 7. Now, if I ask you to write an equation in point-slope form, that's it. You just substitute everything in. Okay? But most of the time, we write an equation in slope-intercept form. This is how we've seen all of our equations. So what variable do we need to solve for here so it's in slope-intercept form? Now, normally, I heard somebody say b. Over here, we're solving for b. It's a different way. But over here, as long as you get y by itself, it's in slope-intercept form. Look, y is by itself. We isolated that variable. So we're going to isolate y here. We're going to get y by itself. We've done things like this before in the previous unit. What's the first step to simplify this and get y by itself? What do you do when you see these parentheses like this? Well, yeah, we distribute, right? That's a distributive property. Arma? Yeah, go ahead. We're going to distribute that negative 2. So what we get is negative 2x plus 8. Over here, we still have a y plus 7. After we distribute, we're still trying to get y by itself. What would be the next step? Dario?
Subtract 7 to both sides.
And get the 7 on the other side. Minus 7, minus 7. Look what we get. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. It's another way to get that same answer. Okay? So in this case, we're plugging in m, x1, and y1. Now, in either case, you can plug in either number, either coordinate for x1 and y1. Okay, Bella said earlier when she was like, plug in for x and y. I was like, which one? She said either one. So I plugged in 4 and negative 7. We could have plugged in negative 11 here and 6 here. Same thing over here. Instead of x1 and y1, I could have plugged in x2 and y2. After we simplified, we still would get the same answer. Because it's still the same line. Remember, x and y just stands for all the points on the line. There's multiple points on this line that we can plug in. This stands for the y-intercept. There's only one y-intercept, and the slope is always constant. It always stays the same. All right? So we might get to this today when we do some practice problems. All right? Probably get to a couple of these. All right? We're going to be practicing writing the equation of a line, all right, in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to give you some different information in this assignment, and then you're going to solve it. So we're in Unit 4. Okay, we're going to Unit 4, and you're looking at, it's Day 1, Unit 4. I only have one thing under Unit 4. So we're going to practice those problems. I'm going to walk around, and I'll help some people. If you want to work in partners or groups, you can do that as well.